First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to First at 5 from WUFT News. I'm Ashley Weinstein.
And I'm Tyler Carmona. Thanks for joining us.
In case you missed it, one big topic of discussion at the Alachua County School Board meeting this week, the Exceptional Student Education Program.
The ESC program centers around instruction for students with disabilities and students who identify as gifted.
WUFT's Mistie Webb reviewed the meeting extensively and joins us now to tell us why this is sparking concern among the board.
Ashley, Tyler, this is one of the 79 policies the school board is currently reviewing to ensure school policies align with amended and new state laws. This particular policy states only certain people can use physical restraint with students who are part of the ESC program. Currently, those who interact with students who are part of the program are not required to have the training, but now that is changing. There are two forms of restraint, physical and mechanical. Only law enforcement can use mechanical restraint. With the new portion of the state law, if personnel who are not law enforcement use restraint, they must complete the Crisis Prevention Institute training. Alachua County Education Association President Carmen Ward believes the authority is necessary.
So some students have very severe behaviors, and so they should have CPI training if they work closely, especially in the shortages that we're dealing with.
There are exceptions to the physical restraint rule, but those include extreme circumstances. Again, with the new state policy, anyone who may have to use physical restraint must go through the formal CPI training. The next step in the process is the public hearing October 18th. The final amended adoptions happen in November. Back to you, Ashley.
Thanks, Misty. If you're a Florida 8th grader looking for a free week-long break from middle school, this one's for you. There is still time to enter AAA's Discovery Crew Travel Contest, where 60 winners will go on a free educational river cruise in Europe. Students have through September 23rd to enter the contest online at AAA's website. While there, applicants will be asked to answer 3 essay questions and submit a travel-inspired selfie. There is no entry fee and you do not have to be a AAA member to win. Winners will be notified at the beginning of October. This prize will include a round-trip flight to Amsterdam, travel insurance, money for passports, and a shared private cabin with their parent or guardian.
We're looking for children who really want to make the most of this trip, who are curious about the opportunities of travel, who are open to new experiences, and are looking to really appreciate culture and getting to know people who are different than themselves.
The cruise runs from March 12th to 19th, 2023. Students must be 13 years old and in good 8th grade standing to enter.
Alachua County Public Schools has a record number of National Merit semifinalists this year. The list of semifinalists was released yesterday. It includes 45 ACPS students. That's the highest number in the district's history. To qualify, students must earn among the nation's highest scores on the PSAT/NMSQT. Semifinalists represent less than 1% of high school seniors in the nation. About 1.5 million students take the exam each year, and about 16,000 are named semifinalists. Buchholz High has 26 semifinalists in this year's program. Eastside has 11, and Gainesville High has 8. Students will learn in early spring of 2023 if they have reached finalist status. Finalists are eligible for thousands of dollars in scholarships provided by businesses, colleges, universities, and other organizations.
Tyler, did you know that today is the first day of fall?
Really? It sure doesn't feel like it. Now, WUFT's Derrah joins us now with the weather forecast.
It is the first day of fall and it definitely doesn't feel like it. Lots of sunshine out there right now. As you can see, clear blue skies behind me, barely any clouds outside, if any at all. It's 91 out, but it feels like 93. As you can see, we haven't received any rain in the last 24 hours, and we aren't expecting any rain in the next 24 hours. I'll have more on when we'll be seeing rain and how long these dry conditions are going to last in my full forecast. Back to you.
With fall semester underway at colleges across the country, this year, homework isn't the only concern. Reports of a drug drink at an off-campus event has students at Boston University on alert. WBTS's Abby Nizgoda tells us there is growing concern on the campus that students could be easy targets.
I feel like people take advantage of students.
It's something Kennedy Toa wishes she didn't have to think about. But the freshman at Boston University has seen the headlines about drug drinks being on the rise in the city.
It just makes you think about how you can't even really go out with your friends or anything.
And as tens of thousands of students return to college campuses around Boston, there is growing fear that any one of them could be the next target.
You actually just never know who's just going to drop something in your drink.
It's already happened to at least one student at Boston University who complained to campus police that their drink was drugged over the weekend. A BU spokesperson tells us that happened at an off-campus location, but the school's Office of Judicial Affairs is launching an investigation.
That's very scary to think about, so perhaps the university should be doing more to tell female students about that.
Students tell us they have heard other horror stories, though.
One of my friends has woken up and been like, why do I genuinely not remember anything?
It's become such a problem that those behind Nightcap, a company in South Florida that makes scrunchies to cover your drink, noticed a lot of their orders were coming from here. It's why they just spent a week on college campuses here giving them out for free.
We're doing our part in Boston to help make sure this put an end to this.
But Kennedy can't help but wonder if it'll be enough.
Well, I think it's better than nothing, but I still feel like people can be really sneaky and they'll find ways around it.
Now, many bartenders are trying to do their part. A lot are starting to open cans in front of you.
That's right, and the angel shot, which is a signal for I'm not feeling safe and I need help, is becoming more popular in bars too.
Now, coming up on First at 5, we're taking you to the Florida Natural History Museum where a plant sale is happening this weekend. Stay with us.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Have you ever wanted to start a butterfly garden or perhaps a garden to attract bees? Now's the time. The Florida Museum of Natural History semi-annual plant sale is back with over 200 native and exotic Florida plant species on the market. Most of these are pollinator attractors, and a great majority of them are very rare. Among the plants are dwarf indigo bush, milkweed, and various types of sunflowers. Ryan Fessenden and his team have planned and prepared all things plants for the week. He says these hard-to-find plants are not only attract pollinators and butterflies, they also draw in large crowds.
Thing that's going to be on the floor is everything that we have. We're not going to have any restocking as we did in the past. So if you want something, it's important to come on Friday morning because once it's gone, it's gone.
The event is Friday from 10 to 5 and continues through Sunday. All proceeds go towards the butterfly garden at the museum.
Some Tesla owners will need to get some repair work done. More than 1 million vehicles are being recalled. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, officials say the windows in these Teslas don't stop rolling up and they also retract quickly when an object is detected. That could pose a potential injury hazard to people inside the vehicle. Among those affected by the recall, Tesla Model 3s from 2017 through 2022 and model vehicles from 2021 and 2022. Tesla says the issue can be fixed with a software update, free of charge.
The Federal Trade Commission says Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and CEO Andy Jassy must testify in its investigation into the company. The FTC is investigating whether the company misled people into subscribing to Amazon Prime and other services. The decision comes after earlier Amazon claims that FTC staff were harassing the two men and imposing burdens on them. The company has filed a petition to the agency's top officials asking them to intervene. But agency commissioners said Amazon had not met the legal threshold to block the civil subpoenas issued to the two men. The probe began last year as an investigation into Amazon Prime and whether Amazon automatically enrolled consumers in the program without their consent. It has since expanded to include nearly a half dozen Amazon services, including Audible, Amazon Music, Kindle Unlimited, and Subscribe and Save. Also in Washington, the legal jeopardy for former President Donald Trump deepens. The latest move threatens to bring down his New York-based real estate empire. The state's attorney general filed a civil lawsuit against the former president, accusing him of fraud.
If this lawsuit succeeds, Donald Trump and his children, Ivanka, Donald Jr., and Eric, would be prevented from running a business in New York ever again. The former president says it's a witch hunt. NBC's Chris Pallone joins us from Washington.
Mr. Trump, can we have a word?
Former President Donald Trump calls the $250 million lawsuit against him and his real estate empire politically motivated. On Fox News, the former president accused New York Attorney General Letitia James, a Democrat, of being out to get him.
Well, she campaigned on it 4 years ago. It was a vicious campaign, and she just talked about Trump, and we're going to indict him, we're going to get him. She knew nothing about me. I never heard of her. She said, we're going to get him. Her whole campaign was based on that.
James filed a 220-page civil lawsuit against the former president, his 3 oldest children, and the Trump Organization, the culmination of a 3-year investigation.
Pattern of fraud and deception that was used by Mr. Trump and the Trump Organization for their own financial benefit is astounding.
Accusing the former president, his children, and his business of lying to banks and insurance companies about his property's values for more than a decade to secure better terms on loans and insurance and to further enrich themselves. The lawsuit cites examples where the Trumps allegedly declared their properties, like the Mar-a-Lago resort, were worth millions more than what they were appraised for. New York's AG says the former president claimed his Fifth Avenue apartment is more than 30,000 square feet when it's just a third of that size.
Claiming you have money that you do not have does not amount to the art of the deal. It's the art of the steal.
The Trump Organization says not only was no bank harmed, they profited handsomely and claims all loans are either current or paid off. The suit seeks $250 million in fines to block the Trumps from buying commercial real estate in New York for 5 years and to permanently ban the Trumps from running businesses in New York. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
Mortgage rates are the highest they've been since the 2008 recession. They've been climbing for more than a month now, hitting 6.29%, according to Freddie Mac. To put it in perspective, it was 2.88% this time last year. Recession fears have been making rates more volatile in the face of yet another rate hike from the Federal Reserve in its ongoing fight against inflation. Because of the higher rates, home prices have started to soften and sales have decreased. But there's still a shortage of homes available. Let's take a look at what this fall has in store for us.
Derrah, it's been hot and rainy. It doesn't really feel like fall out there.
No, it definitely doesn't. I don't think we're going to be expecting any more fall conditions anytime soon. We are going to ramp up the heat a little bit this weekend, but I'll have more on that in my full forecast coming up.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Right now, temperatures are in the upper 80s to low 90s. 91 in Gainesville, 91 in Ocala, and 88 in Palatka. Over the next couple of hours, temperatures are just gonna ever so slightly decrease as we're not expecting any rain the rest of the day or tomorrow. As you can see, lots of blue skies behind me there. Temperatures right now are 91 degrees, but it feels like 93. As you're heading out to work or heading home from class, you might notice a slight breeze. 6 miles per hour is the current wind speed in Gainesville, 8 miles per hour in Ocala, and 7 in St. Augustine. But those wind speeds are going to feel a little bit stronger tomorrow. Max wind speeds reaching up to 13 miles per hour in Gainesville, 21 in St. Augustine, and 10 in Ocala. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine Friday morning. We're going to expect that light wind to ramp up around noon, and the rest of the afternoon will be partly cloudy. High temperatures tomorrow are looking pretty similar to what they were today. 85 in Gainesville, 87 in Ocala, and 88 in Bronson. Temperatures tomorrow night are going to feel much more chilly than they are tonight. 65 in Gainesville, 66 in Micanopy, and 66 in Hawthorne. As we head further south there, we're warming up just a little bit, but we're still in the 60s. 68 in Bellevue, 67 in Ocala, and 69 in the Villages. We are tracking Hurricane Fiona and Tropical Storm Gaston, as well as 3 other tropical disturbances. This tropical disturbance is the one that we're keeping our eye on that might have possible effects later next week. And there is a rip current advisory along the east coast here. Hurricane Fiona is producing pretty large swells, so watch out for that if you're planning a beach day this weekend. The rest of the week, we're going to increase temperature just a little bit between Sunday and Monday, but headed into Wednesday, more rain is headed our way to cool us off a bit. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. The 2-6 Gators soccer team takes on the undefeated Ole Miss Rebels tonight in Oxford.
That's right, the Rebels have allowed only 3 goals this season.
When we come
back, Karina Wilson will have more in sports.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Karina Wilson. Tonight, the struggling Florida Gators soccer team battles the number 13 Ole Miss Rebels. The Gators have lost 3 straight games, including their last home game to the Tennessee Volunteers. The Rebels have yet to lose a match. When facing Ole Miss on the road, Florida claims a 6-3 record. The game is set for 7 p.m. The Orange and Blue then return home Sunday to host the Georgia Bulldogs at noon. Last night, the number 12 Florida volleyball team swept the Alabama Crimson Tide to open up conference play. The Gators have now won 6 straight matches, improving to 9-2 on the year. Sophomore Merritt Beeson captained the offense with 9 kills, followed by junior Sophia Victoria, who claimed 8. Florida takes the court in Columbia, South Carolina to face the Gamecocks this weekend. The SEC foes square off Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Billy Napier and the number 20 Gator football team heads to Knoxville to take on the number 11 Tennessee Volunteers after an unexpectedly close win over the South Florida Bulls last week. Napier said while the team is not where he wants it to be, they're making progress.
We are making progress in a lot of areas of our team, but we're by no means look like what I would like us to look like eventually, and I'm somewhat of a tough critic, but even when we have success on plays, okay, it ain't right sometimes, right?
The game marks the 27th time the in-conference opponents have met in Knoxville and is their 52nd all-time meeting. UF looks to keep its 5-game win streak against the Bulls alive Saturday. Kickoff is scheduled for 3:30. Looking ahead to some Friday night lights, some local high schools take to the field. 3-0 Oak Hall encounters the 1-2 Eaglesview Warriors at 7. The Gainesville Hurricanes head to Santa Fe High School to take on the Raiders at 7:30. Both teams have yet to win a game. Lastly, the undefeated Buchholz Bobcats travel to Ocala to face the 3-1 Vanguard Knights at 7:30.
Thanks, Karina. Before we go, a local cultural icon celebrates its birthday. The Hardin Museum of Arts celebrates its 32nd birthday today. It's open from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday and 1 to 5 p.m. Sundays. Admission is always free. Tyler, I think I'll have to go pay a visit.
I'm sure that depends on the weather.
I heard we're not getting any rain this weekend.
No way. Well, before we go, let's check on weather one last time. Derrah.
Yeah, guys, no rain this weekend, but this evening will be partly cloudy. We're expecting a light breeze tonight, and overnight skies will be mostly clear. On to the next week, we are expecting rain Wednesday. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. BBC World News is up next at the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
And remember, your Florida news is always on WUFT.org. Have a good night.